So, Terry Goff, he is the most organized person I know of. I'm the most disorganized, and he's the most, and we meet somewhere in the middle. And he's in that training room cleaning. And of course, the reason for him to clean is so that you lessen the odds for infection. You lessen the odds of having staph, and that's always something in any athletic program that you always want to lessen the odds. And then now, with all the scare with swine flu, you want to continue to lessen the odds. So we have soap dispensers everywhere, and we have now, on every counter in the school, you have those little hand deals and sanitizers. There you go. And we're always washing our hands to make sure that we lessen the odds of getting sick, getting infection. And then, of course, in education, and of course, in any church or club or organization, the other thing that we fight is the infection of the negative spirit. And the negative spirit can take away from a group, and then in teaching, it can take away from the joy of the greatest profession known to man. And the positive thinker sees the invisible, feels the intangible, and achieves the impossible. And as teachers, great opportunities to help others seldom come. But small ones surround us every day. They surround us each day with many opportunities. And I had an opportunity, of course, all the speakers mentioned about great teachers, and I've never got to share the reason why I decided to coach and teach. In 1976, we're going to track meet in Monahans, Texas. We're going to the great sand crane relays. Monahans, Texas. Sand crane relays. In West Texas, you leave at 4 o'clock in the morning, you get on a bus, get to the prelims at 7 o'clock, and they last all morning. Then you have lunch, and you have the finals, and then the finals is about 8 o'clock at night. And you get on the bus, you get home in West Texas about 2 or 3 in the morning. It's just way of life. So sure enough, I'm a sophomore, weighed about 120 pounds, and got to run on 800 in the varsity division. And I didn't place. 6th, 7th, it's probably 9th. You know how it gets better. But we'll just go with 6 or 7. And I was the third alternate on the mile relay. Well, the third alternate, man, you're safe. Man, you're good. You can go eat a hot dog. You get cold. And of course, so what does a sophomore do? He gets on the bus. He's done. And as the meet goes on, we're sitting in the back with my sophomore friends. He jumps on the bus. Doug Cornell says, "Hey, ladies, Morris said you're running the mile relay." And I went, "Oh my gosh." I got Cheetos on my face. I got Huskers on my white Bernie Brownfield Cub jersey. I can't find my sweats. So I just grabbed it. Of course, in those days we ran on cinder tracks, and so our spikes were like knives. So I had to find my spikes, and we get on in the infield, and there's Morris. And of course, all 4 of the guys on the mile relay were seniors. And they were good. I mean, like they ran 49s and 50s, and that's good. And I couldn't lie. I couldn't lie 52. And so the first thing he asked to go, "What's up?" I said, "Well, Robert Leopard, he strained his quad in the 200. Brad Neal, that ankle continues to aggravate him." And I said, "Well, what about Marino?" He said, "He ate too many frito pies." And so here I am. I'm not even the first alternate, I'm the third alternate. And so I said, "I'll do it." I didn't really think that's an option. But I said, "I'll do it." And of course, I grew up in this town my whole life with these 3 guys, and they're seniors, so I don't know if we'd even spoke to each other our whole lives, but we lived together down the block. Seniors didn't talk to sophomores. And it was Stevie Nelson, who drove a silver Corvette, and we had Navarro. He was just a bad man. We wouldn't even talk to him. We went down the halls, you always turned your head so he made sure he didn't like it. And then there was Rob Wiley, the quarterback, had a GTE Camaro, and he was cool. So they didn't speak to me, but I couldn't let them down. And then over there was a big shot put discus guy named Shane Musa, who later raised tigers. So to say I was intimidated, that's just saying it like. So Morris gets us together and says, okay, Nelson, Rob, you're going to run first leg, Lamar, you're going to run second, and Stevie, you're going to run third. And I went, Coach, we always have the slow guy running third. He said, this time he's running last. And so it goes to the mile relay, and that's with the last race we had to win the meet, the same crank relays. And so everybody gets on the track, and they spread out and cheer you on. And Morris said, the ladies, don't worry. By the time Stevie, Frank, and Rob get it to you, we'll be 40 or 50 yards ahead. Just don't screw it up. That's how they motivated the good old days. So sure enough, first leg, Rob Wiley. We're up 10 yards. He didn't lie. And then Navarro, I mean, I bet it's a 20-yard lead. And then cool Stevie with the Corvette. He gets us up another lead. And I'm going, that's big, but I don't think that's 50. And so sure enough, he said, sprint as fast as you can that first turn, just run as hard and hit it down the straightaway, go around the turn and just give it all you can coming in. So sure enough, I didn't think it was a 50-yard lead, but it was big. And it was so big that if I lost it, it was going to be extremely embarrassing. So I start out and I'm sprinting and I'm running as hard as I can to get around that first turn, and all of a sudden you hear the crowd going, ooh. Now when you're leading a mile relay, that is not a good noise. That means they're catching you, and they're catching you fast. And so sure enough, I get around that third turn, and I'm looking, and you know not to ever turn and see who's behind you. But I can see blue jerseys from Lubbock, Estacada, and they're real, real close. And of course you start out, and let you get around that final turn, and now, you know, when you're, at first your lips are loose, and you get that final turn, and your arms are down, and you're doing this, and the crowd starts getting louder and louder, and I'm getting 30 yards from the line, 20 yards of line, and he's right there, and I fall. And I won. He didn't catch me. We get on the bus, and of course, that's the first time anybody had been patting me on the back. And the first time, no, any of those guys even knew my name was Leach. And they didn't acknowledge it too much. They weren't cool. They just, and I didn't care. I just knew that I survived it. Get on the bus, James G. Morris stands up and says, congratulations, winning Sand Crane Relays. Said, I want to recognize a few people. First person I want to recognize is Stan Leach. Said, as you all know, he's got about as much athletic ability as a camel. Which we all saw demonstrated very well today. But he always does something when we ask, and he gives 110%. And I went, that's the nicest thing anybody. I've never been compared by an animal that looked as good as a camel. And so, from then on, I had a swagger in that program at that school, and the swagger I never lost. Because a guy named James G. Morris knew that great teachers don't set high expectations. Great teachers set the right expectations. And it took a teacher and a coach, James G. Morse, that set the right expectation to an old 120-pound sophomore in Brownfield, Texas. And as teachers, we change people's lives. We've all got examples of, boy, we've got numerous in this room that have changed our lives. So this year, when negativity rises, let's do each other a favor. When the test scores come back 95%, let's celebrate. Let's celebrate. Let's celebrate the success before you allow someone to say, hey, yeah, why wouldn't I? And when the team comes back with a 2-point victory, celebrate. Let's be proud of all the great things we've accomplished before you let some critic ask you why you didn't win by 20. And then finally, this year, when someone complains about a teacher in this room, be sure to stand up and speak up for the hundreds of fantastic teachers that change our lives each and every day, that make a difference. Tell about the teacher you teach with. Tell about the teacher that taught your children. Or tell about the teacher, your James G. Morse, that changed your life. Martin Luther King said it best. In the end, we will not remember the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. Love each other, support each other, and have a great year. I've got to work on something. First of all, of course, we've got to go 1, 2, 3, go Chargers. And then after that, everybody's got to get involved in the rebirth. Go Greyhounds. That goes 1, 2, 3, and it goes. Go Chargers.